Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ELS English Listening and Shadowing. How are you today? Today, I am here with Ray, and today we are going to talk about mastering small talk at social events using natural English transition phrases.
Hello, everyone. I am very happy to be here today. Let's start our conversation.
Ray, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you, Jess. I had a good morning. And you?
I am wonderful, thank you. So, Ray, before we start, let me ask you something. Do you enjoy going to social events?
Yes, I do. I love meeting new people, but sometimes I do not know what to say.
Oh, I understand that feeling. That is exactly why we are talking about small talk today.
Yes, small talk is very important at social events.
That is true. Small talk is the short, friendly conversation you have with people you just met.
Or even with people you know a little but not very well.
Exactly, like at a party, a work event, or a school gathering.
Yes, these are places where small talk happens all the time.
And many English learners feel nervous about small talk. They do not know how to start or how to continue.
Yes, that is a very common problem.
So today, we will teach you some very useful phrases. These are transition phrases.
Yes, transition phrases help you move from one topic to another. They keep the conversation going.
And they make your English sound very natural.
I agree. Using transition phrases is a big step forward in English conversation.
Okay, Ray, let's talk about a social event situation. Imagine you are at a party. You do not know many people. What do you do first?
Well, first I look for someone who is also standing alone,
That is a good idea. Why?
because that person probably also wants to talk. They may also feel a little nervous.
That is very smart. You both have something in common already.
Yes, and then I walk over and say something simple,
Like what?
like, "Hi, my name is Ray. Do you know many people here?"
Oh, that is a very natural opener, simple and friendly.
Yes, it is not too serious, and it invites the other person to talk.
Right. And what do they usually say?
Most people say, "Not really, I only know the host," or they say, "Yes, I know a few people here."
Either way, the conversation starts.
Exactly. The first sentence is the hardest part. After that, it gets easier.
I agree. Now, after you introduce yourself, what is the next step?
I usually ask something about them, like, "How do you know the host?"
That is a classic question at parties. Everyone can answer it.
Yes, and the answer usually leads to more conversation.
For example,
If they say, "We went to school together," I can ask, "Oh, which school?" or "What did you study?"
perfect. You use their answer as a bridge to the next question.
Yes, a bridge. That is a great way to say it.
Now, let's talk about transition phrases specifically. These are phrases that help you move from one topic to another.
Yes, without them, conversations can feel a little awkward or stuck.
That is right. Imagine you are talking about the weather and you want to change to a different topic. What do you say?
I might say, "By the way, have you tried the food here? It looks amazing."
Oh, that is a great example. By the way is a very common transition phrase.
Yes, it helps you change the topic without it feeling strange.
The conversation flows naturally because of that small phrase.
Exactly. Another good one is "speaking of which."
Oh, yes. For example, someone says, I love cooking, and you say, speaking of which, have you ever tried making pasta from scratch?
Yes, "speaking of which" connects the new topic to what was just said.
It is very smooth and natural.
Yes, native English speakers use it all the time.
What about when you want to go back to an earlier topic?
Good question. You can say, "Going back to what you said earlier."
Or, actually, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yes, these phrases let you return to something without it feeling strange.
Let me give an example. You are talking about travel, then the topic changes to food. Then you want to go back to travel. You can say, going back to travel, have you ever been to a place that surprised you?
That sounds very natural.
Thank you. Now, what about when you want to end a topic and start a new one more directly?
You can say, "Anyway, let me ask you something else."
Or, on a different note, what do you think about this?
Yes, "on a different note" is a polite way to say, "I want to talk about something else now."
Exactly. It's direct, but still very friendly.
Another phrase I like is "that reminds me."
Oh, yes, that reminds me is very natural in English.
For example, you are talking about dogs. You say, that reminds me, did you see that video of the dog who saved a child?
Yes, it connects the new topic to the current one. Very smooth.
I use that phrase a lot in real conversations.
Me too. It makes the conversation feel connected.
Yes, like each topic grows naturally from the one before it.
Beautiful. Now, let's talk about how to keep the conversation going when it starts to slow down.
Oh, this is very important. Sometimes there's a silence and you don't know what to say.
Yes, that moment of silence can feel uncomfortable.
But it doesn't have to be. You can use what I call a restart phrase.
What is a restart phrase?
It's a phrase that gives you time to think and also shows interest, like, that's interesting, tell me more.
Oh, yes, or wow, I never thought about it that way.
Exactly. These phrases keep the conversation going even when you're not sure what to say next.
They also make the other person feel good. Everyone likes to feel that their words are interesting.
That is so true, and it takes the pressure off you for a moment.
Another good one is, so what do you think about that?
Yes, you turn the question back to them. It gives you more time and shows you care about their opinion.
Great technique.
Yes, in real conversation, it's not about talking all the time. It's about giving and taking.
I love that. Conversation is a two-way street.
Exactly.
Okay, let's stop here for a moment and look at the phrases we have used today. There are many useful ones.
Yes, let's put them in groups so they're easy to remember.
Good idea. The first group is opening phrases. These are for starting a conversation.
For example, hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Ray.
Or, do you know many people here?
Or, how do you know the host?
These are simple but very effective. Now, let's look at the pronunciation. The phrase, I don't think we have met. This has two contractions.
Yes, don't is short for do not, and we've is short for we have.
In natural speech, English speakers use contractions all the time. It sounds more friendly and natural.
So if you say, I do not think we have met, it is correct but a little formal.
Yes, for social events, contractions are better. They sound warm and relaxed.
That's a great tip.
The second group is transition phrases. These help you change or connect topics.
By the way, speaking of which, that reminds me, on a different note, going back to what you said.
Let's practice. By the way. Say it slowly. By the way.
By the way, the stress is on the word way.
Yes, by the way. The last word is the strongest.
Let's try another. Speaking of which, the stress is on which.
Speaking of which. Good. Now let's look at the grammar of these phrases.
By the way follows a sentence. By the way, I love your jacket.
Speaking of which is also followed by a sentence. Speaking of which, I saw a great movie last weekend.
That reminds me is followed by a sentence too. That reminds me, I have something to tell you.
Very good. So the pattern is transition phrase plus comma plus your sentence.
Yes, that is the structure. Simple to remember.
The third group is keeping the conversation going. These phrases help when conversation slows down.
Tell me more about that. That is so interesting. I never thought about it that way. So what do you think?
These are called follow-up phrases. You use them to respond to something and also invite more talking.
Yes, they show you are listening and you care.
In English, listening well is as important as speaking well.
That is so true. And beginners often focus only on speaking, but listening is the other half.
Exactly. When you use follow-up phrases, you show you are a good listener.
And that makes people want to talk to you more.
Yes, social skills and language skills work together.
I love that idea.
The fourth group is polite ending phrases. These help you close a conversation naturally.
Oh yes, how do you end a conversation without it feeling rude?
You can say, "It was really nice talking to you."
Or, I should go say hello to some other people, but let's talk again later.
Or, "I hope we get to chat again soon."
These are very polite and friendly. The other person feels good.
Yes, ending well is just as important as starting well.
I agree. A good ending leaves a good impression.
Let's also look at the word impression. An impression is what someone thinks or feels about you.
A good impression means they think well of you.
A bad impression means they feel a little uncomfortable or unhappy.
And in social situations, first impressions are very important.
Yes, people form an impression very quickly, in the first few seconds or minutes.
So your opening phrase, your smile, and your friendly energy all matter.
That is right. Language is part of the impression, but so is your body language and your tone.
Tone means how you say something, not just what you say.
Exactly. If you say hello in a warm and friendly tone, it feels very different from saying it in a flat or cold tone.
Yes, the words are the same, but the feeling is very different.
That is a great reminder for our listeners. Let me ask our listeners a question now. Think about a time you met someone new at an event or a social gathering. What did you say first?
Yes, was it easy for you or did you feel nervous?
Please write your answer in the comments below. We would love to hear your story.
And tell us, do you know any of these transition phrases already? Which ones do you use?
If you are enjoying this episode, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. Okay, let's continue.
Ray, let me ask you something. You go to social events quite often, right?
Yes, I do. I go to work events, birthday parties, and community gatherings.
So, which type of event do you find the hardest for small talk?
I think work events are the hardest for me.
Why is that?
Because at work events, I need to be professional but also friendly. It's a balance.
I understand. You cannot be too casual, but you also cannot be too formal.
Yes, and the topics are a little different too. At a party, you can talk about anything. At a work event, you think more carefully.
That is a good point. What topics are safe for work events?
I usually talk about the event itself, like, this is a great venue, or the food here is amazing.
Those are safe and easy topics. Everyone can respond to them.
Yes, and then I move to a work-related topic slowly, like, so what department are you in?
That's a natural transition from the event to the people at the event.
Yes, and the phrase, by the way, what do you do, is very useful at work events.
Absolutely. What do you do is one of the most common questions in English social settings.
Yes, everyone expects it and everyone has an answer ready.
What about at parties or casual events? What topics do you like?
I like talking about movies, music, travel, and food. These are universal topics.
Yes, universal means they work for almost everyone. Everyone has an opinion about food or movies.
Exactly, and opinions are great for conversation. When someone shares their opinion, you can agree, disagree politely, or ask a follow-up question.
Like, oh really? I haven't seen that movie. What's it about?
Yes, or speaking of movies, have you seen anything good lately?
There it is again, speaking of which, or speaking of something to link topics.
Yes, it's one of my favorite phrases.
Mine too. Let's also talk about what to do when you make a mistake in English during small talk.
Oh, this is important. Many learners worry about making mistakes.
Yes, they stop talking because they're afraid of saying something wrong.
But that's not the right approach. Mistakes are normal.
Absolutely. Native English speakers also make mistakes sometimes.
And most people at social events aren't judging your grammar. They just want to connect with you.
Exactly. If you make a mistake, you can smile and say, sorry, let me say that again.
Or just keep going. Most people will understand you even if the grammar isn't perfect.
That's great advice. Communication matters more than perfection.
Yes, your message matters more than the grammar.
And the more you practice, the fewer mistakes you make.
Yes, practice is the key, and podcasts like this one are a great way to practice.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Now let's talk about body language during small talk.
Oh yes, body language is a big part of conversation.
Even if your English isn't perfect, your body language can communicate warmth and friendliness.
Yes, things like eye contact, smiling, and nodding show that you're interested.
Nodding means moving your head up and down slowly while someone talks.
Yes, it shows you're listening. It encourages the other person to keep talking.
And it makes the conversation feel comfortable and natural.
I always nod when someone is speaking to me. It's a good habit.
Me too. And smiling is universal. It works in every culture and every language.
Yes, a smile says, I'm friendly, I'm open, I'm happy to talk to you.
No words needed for that.
That is true. Sometimes the best communication is nonverbal.
Exactly. Language and body language together make you a great communicator.
I love this topic. Small talk sounds simple, but it has so many layers.
Yes, that's what makes it interesting to study.
And the more you understand those layers, the more confident you feel.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone, let's do a quick review together.
Yes, today we talked about small talk at social events.
And we learned 4 groups of useful phrases.
Group 1 was opening phrases for starting a conversation with someone new.
Group 2 was transition phrases for moving between topics naturally.
Group 3 was keeping the conversation going, follow-up phrases to show interest.
Group 4 was polite ending phrases for closing a conversation in a friendly way.
We also learned some grammar. Contractions make your English sound more natural in social settings.
And the pattern for transition phrases is phrase, comma, sentence.
We also talked about tone, body language, and not being afraid of mistakes.
Yes, communication is about connection, not perfection.
I love that. Communication is about connection, not perfection. That's a great sentence to remember.
Please write that in your notebook if you have one.
Yes, and practice one transition phrase this week, just one. Use it in a real conversation.
If you don't have a social event this week, practice with a friend or family member.
Or practice out loud alone at home. It still helps.
Yes, talking to yourself in English is actually very useful practice.
I do it all the time, and it really helps.
Me too. Okay, one last question for our listeners. Which transition phrase from today is your favorite?
Please tell us in the comments. Is it by the way, speaking of which, that reminds me, or on a different note?
We would love to know. And if you have a phrase we didn't mention, please share it. We can all learn together.
Yes, this community is all about learning together.
Beautifully said, Ray. Okay, everyone, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell.
Yes, we post new English podcast episodes every week. Each one is designed for beginner learners just like you.
Today was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed our conversation today very much.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to ELS, English Listening and Shadowing.
We hope you feel more confident about small talk after this episode.
Keep practicing every day. Small steps lead to big progress.
See you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.